Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going over all the games from Week 15 of the NFL season, a.k.a. the first round of the playoffs in fantasy football season, unless your commissioner screwed up. This scheduling, we're going to go through all the games, and honestly, the games are pretty good. Some of the games sucked toward the end of the year, and you know what? There's actually a lot of good games. There is the Bills versus the Patriots with Drake May and the AFC East and the MVP on the line. There's Rams-Lions. Stafford versus Goff. There's a lot of good stuff. There's also bad games, but there's a lot of fun stuff. DK, you're nodding. Are you excited?
Absolutely. Cannot wait.
All right, that sounded super fake. Craig, are you excited?
Well, I'm not in the Ringer Fantasy playoffs, but I would love to be included in one of those one day. So you guys are probably more excited than me, but yeah.
Well, we're on bye, so
technically
nothing going on.
We're actually less exciting than you because you're playing for something.
Yeah,
Heifetz and I just have buys.
You are. That sucks.
I actually kind of think bye weeks suck.
It's the worst take
That's my hot take. Having a bye is awful.
You know what sucks about the bye week is all you do is just hope your players don't get injured for an entire weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're just like, don't get hurt, don't get hurt.
And if they go off, it's like, oh, great. What was that for?
I know.
That was worth nothing.
It is weird.
All right, we're going to get to all that and more. But first, we're going to take a quick break. This episode is presented by Chime. Bank smarter this season. Fantasy football is all about strategy. Well, here's a winning strategy for your money. Trade banking fees for fee-free banking, 1.5% cash back, getting paid when you say, and a higher APY on your savings. That's the lineup that wins. Stop banking the old way. Bank smarter through Chime. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and the secured Chime Visa credit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. Details at chime.com/fees info. With a qualifying direct deposit, earn 1.5% cash back on eligible secured Chime Visa credit card purchases. APY means annual percentage yield. Learn more at chime.com. All right. Getting to these games, starting off here, Buffalo Bills are at the New England Patriots. Craig, do you think a bigger game for Bill Simmons this week is the Patriots-Bills game or your matchup with Bill in the Ringer Fantasy League where the person with less points goes to the Toilet Bowl championship and someone has to do the last place punishment?
Has to be the Ringer League, right? I mean, the Pats are still in first even if they lose this game. And like Bill not getting last place has to be the top priority for him. He was already angling to get out of it. When the season ended, he was like, oh, wait, isn't Van's in last place? Like, it's over. It's done. And we're like, no, there's a toilet bowl. So you can already feel it. He doesn't want to wear that jersey.
DK, what did you make of Bill thinking the last place was after week 14?
Just another confirmation that no one reads the texts.
Yes.
Which
that's true.
Is fair. Honestly, I kind of understand it.
And then the nail in the coffin was Heifetz sending 2,000 words over a simple ad drop situation.
Look, in retrospect, nobody read it, so it didn't matter. TK, what do you think of Bills Patriots, though? So, do the Patriots clinch the AFC East if they win this game?
Yeah, so if the Patriots win, they are the winners of the AFC East. If the Bills win, they can still technically catch the Patriots in the division. And this is also not only just for the AFC East. This is probably going to be, narrative-wise, a big game for the MVP race. Josh Allen versus Drake May, both of whom are playing incredibly right now.
It's kind of weird that the Patriots are not favored in this game. Like, the Patriots are 11-2. They've already beaten the Bills. They're at home. They are not favored in this game.
What do you know? Odd? What do you know, Vegas?
Yeah, I don't know. They have the best record in the NFL. They're at home and they already beat this team. And they're not favored.
But do you think that they're going to win?
No, I'd probably pick the Bills.
Right. So
fuck, Vegas is good.
Sometimes they just know.
Sometimes they just know.
The Patriots have won the last two. Do you think they'll make it 3 in a row? I'm kind of just like, that's my only analysis is like, I feel like the Bills will win this one.
Yeah, it just feels that way. Yeah, it's so true that you can make all the arguments for New England, but I just think Buffalo will win this game. But I will say, Drake May for the MVP, I got to tell you, I wasn't very into it. I was kind of like, oh, are we going to do this Drake May MVP after we identified in March that the Patriots are going to have the easiest schedule in the NFL and like the 1 seed and they roll through the easiest schedule, honestly, in a long time. We're going to give Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year and Drake May the MVP. Like, Drake can't be the second best player, the third. We have to be like, Mike Vrabel's the best coach and Drake May is the singular most valuable player in the league. That's both true. I will say, though, we have not talked enough that Drake May, we talked about Drake May's the deep passing all year. Drake May has the second deepest average completion like in terms of how far downfield the ball's traveling. Drake May is also completing 71% of his passes.
Yeah.
Which I actually think we haven't talked about enough. I don't talk about completion percentage a lot. I feel like I kind of hate it. And it's because people lead the league in completion percentage. Like if you look at the top completion percentages,
a bunch of dump offs.
Yeah, it's Drew Brees that had 75% completion percentage one year.
Yeah, that's some Dylan Gabriel at Oregon shit. Some Bo Nix shit.
Like Drew Brees ranked dead last in completion in average depth of target. And then the next season is the best ever is Drew Brees the year after ranking dead last in completion percentage. And then it's all these guys who are dump offs. Drake May is going to have like the 6th best completion percentage ever if he didn't play any games the rest of the year. But he's throwing passes further than every quarterback downfield in the league, except Jalen Hurts, who only passes it on screens to Dallas Goedert or bombs to AJ Brown, where he's not running full routes. So I will say, the Drake May, it is actually pretty insane to see him like completing passes literally 7 out of 10, even though he's bombing passes.
So he right now leads the NFL in adjusted yards per attempt, 9.3. He's second in yards per attempt. He leads the NFL in EPA per dropback. He leads the NFL in success rate. He's second only to Matt Stafford in passer rating. However, if I was going to like vote right now, I would probably vote for Josh Allen. Who would you guys actually vote for if you had to vote right now?
Stafford.
Well, Stafford, yeah.
It's so funny.
I don't think I would vote for Drake May is kind of my point.
Well, don't you think it's weird that I feel like the Drake May conversation for the MVP is kind of indicative of like the current state of the NFL. And like, it's a lot of teams that are good right now, but have not been good in the past. So we don't really know how to think of them yet. And I'm like, if another quarterback was doing what Drake May was doing right now, that was more established, I would be like, give them the MVP. But because it's Drake May and they have this easy schedule, and this is like kind of the first real season we've seen of Drake May, I feel like nobody wants to admit that this is real. Nobody wants to admit that the Patriots have probably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Just like nobody wants to admit that the Patriots are a top 5 team in the NFL.
Well, that is true. It's kind of like how it took years for us to acknowledge that Brock Purdy is actually good because we were anchored to it. And agree, people need to see it before it happens. Like we don't want to give him MVP because he hasn't done it yet. It's almost like I totally agree with that. And I think that is part of my inclination. And I agree.
There's like a boomerness to me that's like the MVP needs to be earned. Matt Stafford has been grinding for 17 years and he deserves it right now. I'm like, fucking Drake May has played 20 like football games in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, we just don't want to, we're going to anoint, we're going to crown his ass. The flip side is what I keep thinking about is sometimes I'm like, the flip side is the MVP, and part of it's like the value, and the concept of value has been totally changed in the last 20 years with Moneyball. And part of me is like, but like how many games would these teams have each won if all of these quarterbacks had just been torn their ACL in the first quarter of the first game of the year? And I feel like, frankly, the Patriots still win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs even with Josh fucking Dobbs. I'm not taking away from Drake May, but part of me just thinks that Mike Vrabel kind of still gets the Patriots to the playoffs over this schedule of the Jets and the Browns, all these shitty teams, and the Titans. And part of me thinks, honestly, that the Rams kind of still make the playoffs and win 10 games with fucking Jimmy Garoppolo. I know it would probably be a lot worse. Maybe they win at 8 or 9 games. If Josh Allen had gone down and Mitchell Trubisky was the quarterback for the Bills all year, I kind of think the Bills win 5 games.
I know.
Maybe that's not the MVP process.
You're works. Right. Like in terms of valuable to their team, Josh Allen has more responsibility to the offense's success than probably any quarterback in the NFL. And yet, or maybe Mahomes, it's like him and Mahomes every year, but like it's the LeBron argument. Like LeBron should have had 15 MVPs, but what do you do?
Well, I think you give him the MVP every year. It's like we're going to stop giving Ohtani the MVP because like, I'm tired of it. But you're right. I'm probably anchored to the fact that I know Josh Allen's good and I've seen it. So yeah,
I think to me it's like it boils down to I just gave you a bunch of efficiency stats for Drake May, and efficiency's cool, but Josh Allen has 34 touchdowns and Drake May has 25. And Josh Allen leads all quarterbacks in rushing and rushing touchdowns. He's 3rd in the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
Well, you know what's funny about that, crazy. DK, is this is the flipped argument from last year. Lamar had way more touchdowns than Josh Allen did last year. Josh Allen did not have a lot of touchdowns last year. And yet Josh Allen got the
Lamar.
MVP.
But I stick with Josh Allen last year. Twice. But I feel the way, no, I hate that. My least favorite argument in the fucking world is should he be a 3-time MVP? I hate that. I think it's the dumb. It should be siloed to the season.
But
I think
I'm not saying I would do that, but it does matter.
The reason I wanted Josh to win last year was that at fundamental level, the Ravens added Derrick Henry and the Bills lost Stephon Diggs. Like they got rid of Stephon Diggs. And I think you see that again this year where it's like, you know what, Stephon Diggs, fucking Drake May. And again, the surrounding talent argument gets dangerous because the Patriots surrounding talent honestly is kind of ass. And I think that is also very much in Drake May's favor. I don't know. I just, when I watch I agree. I don't know. I guess I feel like Patriots fans are going to get all fucking mad, but I'm like, is it insulting to say Drake May is the third best player in the
Go
NFL?
cry
Is that
into
fucking
your
mean?
awesome ascending quarterback.
I know.
You
I'm kind of like,
who gives
I
a
don't
shit?
totally agree. Anyway.
But Matt Stafford added Devontae Adams. Does that mean he doesn't deserve the MVP?
That's kind of where I am with the Josh thing. Cause I'm like, Sean McVay and Devontae Adams and Puka, that is kind of why I could be convinced to put Drake May ahead of Stafford for that argument of, dude, the infrastructure Stafford has is crazy. I think he's playing at a higher level than Drake May, but also he has way more talent around him. But
I don't know. I don't like judging it based off of like how good is your surrounding talent. I like to look at it a little more. I'm just like, how good is your team? How good are you playing? How good are your abilities right now? Do I feel like you are the best quarterback in the league when I watch you? And Stafford looks like that almost every week. Drake May and Josh Allen are right there too, but I think it's Stafford. They are the best team, and he looks the best.
And so the
I don't
truth
care if he's
is,
throwing to all pros.
the truth is, from this moment on, it will be decided. Like DK's right. Like I think if Drake May beats Josh Allen in this game, he'll probably win.
Josh Allen's 14-1, by the way. Stafford,
which is crazy because if
Drake
the
May's
Bills
second, yeah.
if the Bills finish and win out, like I feel like Josh Allen can still totally win it. But it depends how it'll play going forward. So I don't know.
Jordan Love is actually ahead of him in the MVP race right now.
Jordan Love's
That's
not
nuts.
MVP.
Bo
I'm
Nix
sorry.
is sixth, which is like
Kind of a sign of the
not
season.
happening.
So we're all just like the Patriots are super underrated and disrespected, and also we're all picking the Bills to win. Is that how it's going?
Well, it's funny. It's like it's all a part of like this entire narrative of the season. You know why we're all picking the Bills to win? Because the Patriots were like, I don't know. I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care what his completion percentage is. I don't care what their record is. I just like, I don't know. Bills.
Yep.
Josh Allen.
That's exactly where I am. Yep. I agree.
Allen.
All right.
This is a tough fantasy game though. Like you have the Patriots running back situation that you're playing Travion, but I was a little worried about the split with Ramondre the last time they played. Every single Bills pass catcher is a complete dice roll. Every single Patriots pass catcher is a complete dice roll. It's really tough.
The person you have to play is Stephon Diggs. He was huge in the game against the Bills. Like I think the most underrated thing, they have the little projections of how many points they're going to score. I promise you the number one factor that matters in real life that is not considered in those little numbers is the fact that Stephon Diggs is going against his old team. Like that kind of revenge, it actually is considered in the game planning. Like the Patriots absolutely went out of their way to get Stephon Diggs the ball in the first game they played against Buffalo. And also just genuinely, I think Stephon Diggs he's been unbelievable on a per route basis this season, but I would not bench Diggs. Obviously you're playing Drake May. I think you have to play Travion Henderson just because that's the way the Patriots are going to try to win this game is the running game, because that is the weakness of the Bills defense. So
Ramondre out-touched him.
It's
game,
tough, but I think the Bills run defense. What do you think, DK? I think look, it depends.
You should play him.
I'm starting Travion. I'm not playing Ramondre, even though that might not look great on Monday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a split. Like, I think we know what Vrabel is like. This is one of those things where it's like you just have to accept what Vrabel's telling you. When these two guys are healthy, like at best they will split.
Yeah,
and I think a split against the bad run is good.
Back.
Yeah,
that's the type of running back Henderson is anyway. He's a
you have to basically bank on him getting one or two explosives to round out a stat line.
And you probably don't have a better option. Yeah. So the next game here, another game. This is weird. Ravens at Bengals, another divisional game rematch.
Yeah. A must win for the Ravens. These teams played on Thanksgiving. The Bengals won. That Lamar looked terrible. However, I do want to kind of retcon this a little bit with Lamar, because last week the fantasy numbers were there a little bit. That Bengals game was really wonky. Like that was the game where Isaiah Likely fumbled the touchdown at the half-inch yard line. Zay Flowers had a touchdown called back. So if you basically add both those things back, also Lamar's interception was a tip pass that also could have been a touchdown to Mark Andrews. Lamar really had like 280 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. And so if you have that plus last week, it does seem like he's a little bit more back. To me, the Bengals are cooked and dead, and I don't know if T. Higgins is going to play, and the Ravens are desperate, and Cincinnati has the worst defense in the league.
And Joe Burrow's waxing poetic about a lot of things.
Joe Burrow,
off the field.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that. I wrote down some of the quotes at a presser, basically him just talking about how he's not happy right now, and things are going on off the field and on the field, and he needs to try to like find the fun in playing football again. So I'm like, am I going to bet on that team going into this game in a meaningless game for them versus a team that desperately needs to win? The spread in this game is only 2.5. The Ravens are favored. So I'm like, to me, I'm very into Baltimore in this game, even though they're on the road and they've kind of looked bad.
I think people are going way too far with the Joe Burrow is like not going to be on the Bengals thing next year. I don't know why that's becoming a story, but it is weird. That
I'll tell you why it's becoming a story, because Adam Schefter on ESPN today deliberately was like, let me tell you something. A lot of front offices watch that video. A lot of front offices are interested in what Joe Burrow had to say. I'll just say that.
What does that mean?
Like the teams are going to try to go get him because he's miserable and gets hit all the time. And this is Andrew Luck 2.0. And Schefter, said, in 13 fewer games, Burrow versus Andrew Luck, he has 29 more sacks.
I cannot. But
I'm telling you, if you ask why, you ask why are people doing it? It's because Adam Schefter is like trying to build that propaganda.
Before I say anything, what do you think of that, DK?
I mean, obviously, the first thing you think of is the Andrew Luck situation where he just stopped loving football and decided to retire and live his life. He had a bunch of money, and he's like, I'm going to go do stuff I like doing. This sucks.
Now he's the GM of Stanford, which when I retire, dude, GM of San Diego State sounds like a blast.
Craig's going to put together a hell of a basket.
We're going to make you the fourth most famous Craig in American history since we're so light on Craigs.
That's true.
But I mean, I think generally my reaction is like, he's just bummed out because they suck right now. Like he'll be fine.
Yeah,
like,
I totally agree. I think
I saw somebody tweeted it was like, that's what the money's for.
Dude,
like, you're not happy? That's what the money's for.
Remember like 9 days ago when we were so happy because Joe Burrow, they were like, why are you coming back to play? And he's like, I get paid a lot of money to play a kids game, $60 million a year to play a kids game. And then 10 days later, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, this guy's going to force his way out. I don't know. Anything could happen. You never know. He said personal life and professional. You never know what's going on in people's lives. And then obviously he's had a weird string in Cincinnati. But I can't believe I'm going to defend the Cincinnati Bengals, who I've been as hard on anyone. 20 years ago, the Bengals were locking up footballs after practice so they couldn't throw the ball. And then, T.J. Houshmandzadeh had the story about how they had to pay for their own fucking jock straps or whatever. But the Bengals have modernized the goddamn team. They are building a practice bubble. And also, they paid all the guys. They gave Joe Burrow $250 million and timed his announcement to overshadow Mahomes on the opening week of the NFL season a couple years ago. They gave Jamar Chase the most money for, I think, any non-quarterback in the entire league. I think Myles Garrett passed him. They paid to keep T. Higgins. They even fucking paid Mike Gesicki for some goddamn reason. You think Joe Burrow wasn't consulted on keeping Chase, Higgins, and Gesicki? And they had to not pay Trey Hendrickson to do that. They've missed a bunch of picks on defense, but the whole, they haven't invested in the offensive line. They drafted Amaris Mims in the first round at tackle. They kept every player that Joe Burrow fucking passes to. The idea that the Bengals haven't treated him right, the sacks, Andrew Luck, the Colts completely botched the offensive line situation. That was crazy. There were weird things with his injuries and his shoulder. Joe Burrow's taking hits is a complete stylistic decision on how Joe Burrow approaches the game of football. Joe Burrow has literally said sacks and turnovers on third down are totally overrated. Like that, Joe Burrow would rather hold the ball and take hits and try to get big plays downfield. But I don't know. Blaming the Bengals to me is, I think that's super unfair, to be honest.
He didn't do that. All he said was, I'm not having fun.
I agree. And I'm not saying the Bengals, he's blaming the Bengals. I'm saying people blame the Bengals for Burrow's injuries. And I'm like, do you feel that way, DK? I'm like, they've invested a shitload into this offense.
No, not really. I mean, a lot of his injuries have been totally fluky. So I don't know. I think he was probably in a bad mood, and they're not going to make the playoffs very, very likely. I think they have like a 2% or 3% chance. You just have a bad day. Caught him at the wrong moment.
This is why athletes aren't honest.
He's thinking about his life right now.
This is why they're not honest in press conferences, because they're
maybe
like, how
he
are
got
you
in
doing?
a fight with his girlfriend. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, just because your quarterback is your franchise quarterback and the cornerstone of the organization, you don't have to make every decision that he wants. You don't have to sign all the people he wants. You can still everyone being like, look, the Bengals did what Joe Burrow wanted. That doesn't mean it was the right decision. They didn't need to sign T. Higgins. They didn't need to sign Mike Gesicki. Just because the quarterback wants it and he'd be pissed for a month if you let T. Higgins walk. Ultimately, if that makes the offensive line better or the defense better, and then when the season starts and they're actually winning games, Joe Burrow probably okay with it.
Winning solves everything.
Yeah. Yes. And to be clear, I think what Burrow wanted aligned with what the Bengals do. The Bengals, even though they're an old school team, have weirdly always believed in two really high caliber wide receivers. If you go back to the late 80s, with Collinsworth in the early 90s, the Bengals have always weirdly been ahead of the curve on wanting two good receivers. And so I think Burrow wanted to keep those guys, but the Bengals kind of did too. But so it's not necessarily like they did what LeBron James wants. So you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't think, I think I agree with you, DK. I think Burrow's just upset and people are like, does he want to leave? And I'm like, no, probably not. So
it's funny because I would actually say where the Bengals are positioned right now in the AFC North, it's kind of not that bad. Like if you kind of like the Ravens are teetering on collapse. The Steelers have a 42-year-old quarterback. Who knows what's going to happen with their head coach? Like I would say the Ravens and the Steelers are the most vulnerable they've been in a decade, and the Browns are a disaster. So I'm like, the Bengals could absolutely go 12-5 next year and win the AFC North.
I think that's the right point, Craig, because think about it this way. If I told you that the Bengals, Joe Burrow would miss, how much time did he miss? Like 2 full months or almost 3 full months from Joe Burrow. And the Bengals would have the worst defense in arguably decades. And yet, if the Bengals beat the Ravens this week, the Bengals will have 1 fewer win than the Ravens, who were the Super Bowl favorites entering the season. And it's gone about as bad as you could hope for the Bengals. Like, that's pretty good as a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, the Bengals are going to have another fringe top 10 pick, take another offensive lineman and like run it back.
Yeah. Okay. So
who do you start in this game?
I think you're starting. You're starting Derrick Henry. Obviously, he's probably going to have a huge game. You're starting Lamar. I think you start Zay Flowers. Mm-hmm. You're obviously starting Jamar Chase. If T. Higgins plays, you're playing him.
I don't think
it's very unlikely Higgins plays.
I think
he might not play the rest of the year.
I think this is simple. It's Joe Burrow, it's Jamar Chase, and it's Chase Brown, the guys that you don't think about you play. And then Lamar and Derrick Henry, the guys you don't think about you play. The complicated people.
I think you play Zay Flowers.
That's the question. Though Mike Clay at ESPN had a great breakdown, which is now I'm forgetting the name of the Bengals cornerback. We've given them a lot of grief, but they've actually been really good against receivers. And that
they're terrible against tight ends.
Bengals cornerbacks actually I'm forgetting his name now, but they shadowed Zay Flowers in the first game. And outside of that 1 touchdown, Zay Flowers ended up with 6 yards in the goddamn game.
You talking about DJ Turner?
Yes, and so he shadowed Zay Flowers, and he's been a better. I didn't realize that he's been that good as a shadow cornerback because it's actually way rarer than you think. But basically, Zay Flowers got shut down outside of that play. And I actually think Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews are totally viable at
they're good
tight
flex
end
options.
Because the Bengals flex is basically the Bengals allow literally the most targets, catches, yards, touchdowns, and obviously fantasy points to tight ends. Literally, the Bengals allow the most to all of that. So again, when the Steelers played the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, the Steelers had 3 different tight ends catch a fucking touchdown. So I think Mark Andrews and Likely are playable, but Zay Flowers scares me quite a bit.
I'll one up you on the Bengals, how bad they are against tight ends. The Bengals this year have allowed 1,258 yards to tight ends. That is already the most in the NFL since 2015.
Wow,
there's a month to go. And they've already allowed the most in a season in 10 years.
So I think but it's kind of like at that point, it's a decision by the defense. You know what I mean? That's like pick your poison, and every week they're like, let the tight ends do it.
I just think there's going to be a lot of points in this game, and I think you could do worse than Zay.
For what it's worth, go back to Higgins real quick. He was limited in practice today. So
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to play, but
my initial reaction was like, oh, another concussion after he had a concussion 2 weeks ago. I'm like, they might shut him down, but
I could be wrong here. I don't think he's been diagnosed with a concussion.
He was just placed in the protocol? He was certainly placed in the protocol after reporting symptoms.
He checked in twice during the game last week for a concussion, came back in the game twice, and then showed symptoms after the game, and then entered protocol.
So
I believe the definition of limited participation in practice is literally anything between non-participating and full.
Right.
So
he's probably just doing like walking
around.
Yeah.
Literally, yes, that would be limited. So we'll see. But if T. Higgins plays, sure, but I don't think he's gonna.
He was wearing pads going through warmups.
That's shocking, actually. Yeah.
That is kind of weird. Don't feel great about that. Okay. Another divisional matchup, another rematch. Chargers are at the Kansas City Chiefs.
God.
What do you make of these two teams?
The last time these two teams played, we were in Brazil. It was the Friday of the beginning of the NFL season. The Chargers looked fantastic. The line was firing. Both teams looked good. We thought they were both going to be top 2 seeds in the AFC.
Yeah, it was
long season, Craig.
It was
a long season.
It was completely different. Travis Kelce kind of wasn't on the same page with Mahomes for a game-losing moment right at the end.
It was completely different. Stop.
It was. And so, it's funny because I think that, the stakes in this game are pretty big because the Chiefs, as much as we all did the ding dong, the witch is dead with the Chiefs last week, the reality is the Chiefs are mathematically eliminated if they lose this week versus the Chargers. However, if the Chiefs beat the Chargers this week, I think the Chiefs have a very viable path to make the playoffs. And frankly, I think all of us got out over a goddamn skis last week, including myself, in writing
Reports
the Chiefs
of their
off.
demise was greatly exaggerated.
I got a little caught up, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, do me a favor. Let's just pretend the Chiefs beat the Chargers this week, which is not crazy. They're favored by almost 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
If the Chiefs win this week, tell me which part of this you think is unlikely. The Chiefs go 3-0 with 2 of those games being against the Titans and Raiders. So are 2 of the worst
Who's
teams in
the
the
other
NFL. The Broncos. That's the hard game. But I don't think anyone thinks the Titans or Raiders are beating Kansas City.
Also, the Broncos is week 18. The Broncos might not have anybody to play for.
No, the Raiders are week 18. The Broncos are
Oh,
week
it's 17?
Yes. So it's a big game. I admit that. However, I don't think anyone thinks the Titans or the Raiders are beating Kansas City. The other one is the Chargers kind of just have to go 1-2 versus Dallas, Houston, and Denver, which that's also not crazy at all. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's likely, but if the Chiefs win this game, right, like just this week, they have the New York Times, the Athletic Playoff Machine has them at like 19% odds. Like it's, which goes up to like 45 if the Chiefs beat the Broncos in week 6. I'm just saying, if you are one of those people who is excited that the Chiefs were out of the playoffs, if they don't win this week, you're going to fucking hear about it.
The Chiefs are like Will Ferrell in Austin Powers. He's like, help, I'm very badly burned. You go in and you shoot him. You shot me.
You shot me in my
right in
leg.
the arm.
I'm very badly burned.
If you come down, I can still survive.
Can you get some help?
FanDuel has the Chiefs missing the playoffs at minus 900.
I bet the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this week at 55-1. I didn't put much money on it, but I'm just telling, if the Chiefs win this game,
I'm glad
everyone's going to collectively realize that they have to just fucking beat the Broncos, cakewalk over the 2 of the worst teams in the league, and then the Chargers just have to not win 2 of their next 3.
The thing is about the Chiefs, I keep saying, well, they can't lose this week. They can't look like shit this week, and then they do.
Well, I'm not saying they should. Yeah, I think I'm surprised they're favored by 5.5, to be honest. But going through that, this is a sloppy game. I mean, this is the Mahomes-Herbert battle. But looking at these 2 games, Chiefs and Chargers combined have had 8 different left tackles this season, which is fucking crazy.
Brutal.
And in this game alone, the Chiefs are going to be down.
I heard they called Phillip Rivers to see if he'd play left tackle.
Yeah, no, they did. It's true.
But he was booked. Yeah.
Weird coincidence.
It's like, sorry, I got a thing.
It's like, I'm busy. That'd be funny. Cam Newton was all mad that the Colts didn't call him, and the Chiefs could call Cam Newton, but maybe put him at right tackle.
Honestly, it'd be pretty good.
Chiefs are on their 3rd string left tackle and maybe 2nd string right tackle, and then the Chargers will have their 5th string left tackle and their 3rd string right tackle in this game.
Dude.
So,
the Chiefs are cursed, man. Sorry, the
What?
Chargers are cursed. Chargers, not the Chiefs. I meant the Chargers.
The least cursed team of the last 10 years.
Yeah, but related to the Chargers being on their 5th string left tackle, Justin Herbert's the most pressured quarterback in the NFL this season. Justin Herbert's taken the most hits of any quarterback this season. Justin Herbert has won 3 different games this season where he was pressured 20 times, which is preposterous.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
But I mean, fantasy wise, man,
are you playing any pass catcher on the Chargers?
That's what I was going to ask you guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel good about it. I mean, Oronde Gadsden for the Chargers, he's not done very little. Herbert, ironically, he missed Gadsden on his best, probably his most open play. Gadsden had on Monday Night Football, but I don't feel good about playing Oronde Gadsden with my season on the line. I think Ladd McConkey I would play because I don't think anyone can cover Ladd on the Chiefs as well as Cooper DeJean did last week with the Eagles. I think Ladd was the focal point. Trent McDuffie's good, but he's banged up. I think Ladd, but I don't feel great about Quentin Johnson or even Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Ladd is limited this week. He picked up a foot injury last week. I agree that he's the only one you're even considering. It feels kind of weird to bench him because you probably started him all year and he's been fine. With that said, Herbert has not thrown for more than 150 yards in a game since November 9th.
Jeez.
It's been over a month since he's hit 100.
So who do you play at the running back spot then?
Well, the running back, I'm glad you asked, DK. Jim Harbaugh had totally answered this. So Marion Hampton's back, the rookie running back who had an ankle fracture and then came back from injured reserve. Kimani Vidal has been filling in. So Harbaugh just answered this. This is from Chris Ream, who,
I'm
serial
so ready for this.
I can
serial basketball fouler.
Something's coming. I think a reversal's coming from Heifetz here. Go ahead.
Chris, the Chargers reporter for ESPN, asked Harbaugh about how Kimani Vidal and Marion Hampton had exactly the same amount of carries last week. Will he continue that going forward? And Harbaugh said, it's really impossible to predict the amount of carries for somebody. And then Chris was like, why is that? And Harbaugh said, because I'm not a prognosticator, I'm not a seer of the future.
He's right.
I mean, he's being brutally honest.
You know what Harbaugh should have said? It would have been funny if he was like, yes, they will both see the exact same number of carries, and that is my top priority in this game. 12 each.
So who do you start? I think you lean Omari and Hampton, right? And then
I think you start Kimani Vidal.
Yeah.
Because Vidal still struggled in pass protection, but Omari Hampton was fucking destroyed by Nakobe Dean like 3 times. And I think that it's one thing for the tackles to have issues for the Chargers, but the amount of, ironically, the only fucking Charger that hasn't got hurt in the offensive line is Bradley Bozeman, who there's nothing more of an ick than when a center goes the wrong way in pass protection. Like that is, I didn't realize that was an ick until that happened. But the amount of times they fooled Bradley Bozeman at center, you can't have a rookie running back like either missing the assignment or getting blown up. So I think and Vidal's a way better receiver too. So I think that if you're in a full PPR league, Kimani Vidal is more likely to get to double digits without a touchdown. But I also think Omari Hampton's more likely to play inside the 10. So like you're fucked if you have him. I think
will they get inside the 10? This game's gonna be ugly as
I don't know.
It's gonna be a fucking nasty game.
I don't know, but I think the running backs actually for the Chargers are viable. Everyone else is kind of brutal. But anyway, yeah, I don't. And then the Chiefs, it's also Rashee Rice and Kelsey, and like that's it, man. Mahomes. But
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Also, Mahomes. Just to add, I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going to make it to the playoffs maybe for the first time ever with Mahomes, but Mahomes already has the most scrambles of his career.
Yeah.
And it's entering week 15. So I think that alone is a good little embodiment of just how bad the Chiefs O-line is. Highest sack rate of his career. So yeah, ugly game. Who are the leaders in rushing yards right now at quarterback? I feel like Mahomes and Herbert are like top 3.
Josh Allen is, I think, number 1.
Let me pull this up. Hold on.
Leads
Jamie,
the NFL in rushing yards and touchdowns at quarterback. Mahomes has 407. He's 3rd. Herbert is 2nd.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
because they're running for their goddamn lives.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Herbert has 19 design rushes this year. This like half of those came last week when they decided the pass game just wouldn't work.
Yeah, I feel like he was calling his own by the end of the game.
He was like, fuck it, I'm just taking the ball.
It did feel like one of those was him just being like, you know what, they're not going to crash down. I'm just going to keep this. Kind of like when 100%. Joe Flacco had the design option that he just like got the play wrong and has kept
dude. Herbert and Mahomes having 70 yards less rushing than Josh Allen this year is pretty crazy.
Herbert
15 weeks into the season.
This Herbert season is another added to the list of years the Chargers will not make the playoffs. We'll give an excuse and we're gonna be like, Herbert's amazing. And
yes,
Eagles fans go like, Jalen Hurts won Super Bowl MVP and he's not better than Herbert. And I'm gonna be like, well, watching that game, the amount of times Justin Herbert literally had a free rusher in his face and then like dodged the guy and then just made a completion was fucking crazy.
I really do think that the Chargers figured something out where you can actually add another blocker by just having the quarterback absorb the first hit of the rusher.
The Steelers should have figured that with Roethlisberger. Like he wants to get hit.
They basically did.
Other games in this window that, I mean, this is a pretty good window. I mean, you got Bills, Patriots, Ravens, Bengals, and Chargers, Chiefs are all at 1 o'clock. But the other one,
the multi-view is going to be perfect. You have those 3 games in red zone and you're chilling.
Now, it's true. Now, which of these other ones are going to make it to red zone? We'll see. The Browns are at the Bears this week. This is just like the content bowl between Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, these are generational content quarterbacks.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to ask you guys a question. DK, do you think I'm crazy? Part of me wants Kevin Stefanski to get fired by the Browns, and I want the Giants to hire
him. What do you like about him? Put it that way. Obviously, he's a 2-time Coach of the Year winner. So there's that.
I mean, I just think
what specifically do you like about him?
I think, believe it or not, the Browns have pretty consistently been better than the pieces he's been handed. And I think that he has actually done pretty well
makes chicken salad out of chicken shit on offense.
Yeah, the only double-digit wins seasons the Browns have ever had have been with Stefanski. And I look and I'm like, it's not like I don't think he wanted Deshaun Watson. I think the owner, Jimmy Haslam, wanted fucking Deshaun Watson. And like, they're crazy. And he got handed a bunch of weird situations over the years, but including the Shedeur Sanders one, which is also strange. Because people think that there's like conspiracies that Stefanski's trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders, which I also think is funny because I think it's true that he didn't want him in the draft. I also don't think he's pulling him off the 2-point conversions to sabotage him. I think that he just genuinely wanted Quinshon Judkins running the Wildcat. I don't think it has to be sabotage.
And again, they would have scored probably if Judkins hadn't fallen asleep at the wheel. What was he doing? There was like a story that
forgot.
came out later this week or that week that was like, they practiced this, they ran this in practice a couple times this last week. They had this installed, blah, blah, blah. And apparently Judkins had forgotten all of that.
Well,
He
you know what
just
it is?
blanked.
You know what it is? You know when you go upstairs to get something, you walk in a room and you're like, why did I come in here?
Why did I come up here?
It was just
Yeah.
the football
What was
version
I
of he's
doing?
running
Why
and he
did
was
I
like,
open the fridge?
yeah. What
What's-
was I doing?
What am I doing here?
I mean, I wonder how many Wildcats he had run this year. He's probably just fucking nervous.
He's 21 years old and he's like, wait, and he's probably never had to pitch on a reverse
Crucial
his
moment
entire
of the
life.
game. He's basically the quarterback for a play. Probably just forgot. And
Also,
panicked.
I've always thought this, or it seems more obvious lately, that there's like no actual good way to run a play on a 2-point conversion. There's like, I feel like you can have such a wide range of play options in a 2-point conversion from the 2-yard line, right?
Yeah.
And some people just like legitimately line up and run the ball. And it's like, that's okay. That's a fine play. A lot of people do like a stupid little sprint out. I hate that. I feel like there's no good
Yeah.
2-point play.
Every time it fails, you're like, well, why would you run that play?
100%.
That's
The
what I'm
fourth
saying.
down-
That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, it either works or it looks stupid as hell.
100, and it's the same with fourth down, where every time people go for it and don't get it, I'm like, well, that was a dumb play.
Right.
'Cause, like,
of
half
course,
the-
you just run it up the gut. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like honestly, from the 2-yard line, running it is probably like a fine play,
And-
but it just looks so lazy when they do it on
It's
a
so
2-point
true.
conversion. It's
And
like,
nothing-
you just ran it? What the fuck?
Nothing angers me more than when they like have a 2-yard thing or especially the 4th and inches or 1 and they get in shotgun. I'm like, why would you move the ball so far away? And then they do the sprint out, throw to the pylon, and it works every time. And I'm still angry about it. I'd rather them fail and get under center. Oh my God. Anyway, this game's going to be ugly as hell. I will just note, I think that the rushing in this game is kind of interesting. I don't want any Bears receivers. Like even if Roma Dunze plays, I don't want him. Like the Browns' defense has been really good versus. Mike Clay also noted that the Browns haven't allowed a receiver to get more than 17 fantasy points in like more than 2 months. I don't want Roma Dunze if he
Really?
plays. I don't trust DJ Moore even if Roma Dunze doesn't play. I mean, I don't. If you have DJ Moore, you're probably not in the goddamn playoffs. I don't trust Luther Burden. If you have to, go for it. But the Bears running backs have been amazing. They're averaging the most yards before contact per carry.
Yeah, you're
And-
probably playing both of them, right?
I think so. And the Browns, but they have like one of the best rush defenses
I know.
because they're allowing half a yard before contact. But Malik
The Browns
Collins,
just let Tony Pollard have his best game. Of
Well,
his
that's
season.
where I'm going. Malik Collins, the defensive tackle for the Browns, he's the guy that remember why all the Browns were
Mhm.
mad at Jawan Jennings, and they were like,
Yeah.
he's a hoe. It's because he was shit talking Malik Collins while Malik Collins is being carted off. Since Malik Collins has been carted off, the Browns defense has not been very the running game has been totally different. Malik
He's the
Collins,
straw that stirs the drink in the run game.
I didn't really understand. I wasn't familiar with his game. Kevin Clark at ESPN had Trey Smith, the Chiefs right guard, on his show a couple months ago, and he asked him who's the hardest person to block. He's a guard, so he's not going into these
Sure.
tackles. And Trey Smith said now that Aaron Donald's retired, he said Malik Collins
Really?
was the hardest person to block in the NFL.
Wonder if they're
Which-
the same agent
I,
and they're just
Yeah,
doing
that's-
him a solid there.
you're smarter
Um,
than me. Anyway, Malik
I'm like
Collins is out.
Dexter Lawrence, like
Oh,
Leonard
mm.
Williams. No, okay.
Dexter Lawrence of the second worst rushing defense in the NFL.
Well, maybe last year.
I fucking hate the Giants. Anyway, you play the Bears running backs. Raiders are at the Eagles this week.
And you
Craig.
play Fannin. You play Harold Fannin.
Yeah,
Yes.
Harold Fannin. Do you play the Raiders Eagles game? Do you play the rabbit, the inflatable rabbit that they put in the Eagles locker room for
Yeah,
like
the- what-
5 days?
What was it called? Like the Positive Vibes Rabbit?
Positivity rabbit.
Positivity Rabbit.
I didn't get it. I assumed it was because Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, got his house egged, and then as a joke, they got an Easter rabbit because of eggs. I just thought that was the bit. I don't understand what the fuck they were doing otherwise.
I kind of never believed. I thought I was getting clanked, but that apparently was a real story.
Clank.
I'm kind of I'm
Getting
like
clanked.
the Eagles are the last team to me that like that would work for. Like a
What do you
fucking
think Jalen
rabbit
Hurts
in the
thought?
locker-
Ted Lasso ass
What are we
shit.
doing?
What do you think Jalen Hurts thought when he walked in the locker room and just saw a fucking inflatable rabbit that was like 8 feet tall?
He just fucking tried to have a staring contest with it and won.
Why the rabbit had to leave?
Yeah, the rabbit had to leave. This game is very interesting because so Kenny Pickett, it looks like, is going to start this game. So
Hell yeah.
former Super Bowl winning Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett, revenge game against his former team. Can't be overstated. Dude, how many points are the Raiders going to score in this game? The Eagles defense looked fantastic last week. Obviously, they are spiraling and need to save their season. Like, if you were betting somebody that you had to guarantee the Raiders will score a certain amount of points, and and you put your house on the line, what is the highest number you would feel comfortable saying that the Raiders
3.
score? 3.
Yeah.
The
Maybe
Raiders haven't
6?
scored more than 17 points in 5 weeks, and now they're playing the
Now Kenny
Eagles
Pickett
with Kenny
is-
Pickett.
Yee.
If part of me thinks we should, I don't know if it's helpful or not, but sometimes I'm like, who's the best player that I'm like, I don't even want to play them in my lineup this week, but you will.
Ashton Genty,
I was going to say, I'm like, Genty's the kind of guy that you can't bench him, but
dude.
if Genty has 30 yards in this game, I wouldn't be shocked.
Genty is one of the main contributors to me not making the playoffs in the Ringer League. I mean, any other running back I could have taken in that range, I would have had a much better season. Genty's been so frustrating. The Waddle model, how many times he's outperformed his projection on Yahoo? 4 out of 13 games, he has outscored his projection this season. He has single-digit fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 weeks. So, I mean, if you have him, you're probably not in the playoffs anyway. Such a bizarre year for him. He only has 660 rushing yards this season.
He has
Played
so
every
many
single
carries too. And you have to play him this week because he's going to get all these carries. And the Eagles' whole thing is we're going to let you run and
they just gave up a ton of yards to Hampton and Vidal. But like, dude, you're basically banking on him getting like 5 catches for 50 yards because that's what saves his fantasy performance every week. But he is borderline playable, but you kind of have to because it's running back and it's usually thin. What are you going to do? But man, it's bad.
Hurts bounce back?
I mean, you're playing him.
He better.
He better.
Imagine if Jalen Hurts does not bounce back versus the Raiders.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're playing Hurts, you're playing AJ Brown, you're playing Saquon, you're playing Brock Bowers. You're probably playing Genty. Devontae Smith is the one that it's like a little bit dicey. The thing about Devontae Smith is it's like a lot of the targets have not been translating, but like his yards per route runner, like a lot of the underlying metrics still show that he's playing well. He's had 8 targets in each of the last 3 weeks. He's honestly just not scoring touchdowns. Like he has 3 touchdowns this entire season. He's kind of in the Zay Flowers range where it's like maybe he'll get you 50 to 80 yards, and that's what you kind of have to hope for. But they're playing the Raiders. I don't know.
You have to. Here's the thing with the Eagles. As bad as they looked, I'm just going to go through. I wish I'd thought of this earlier, but I'm doing this now. I think if you just look at how many times the Raiders' opponent had one of their 2 best games of the entire season against the Raiders made them look the best they looked the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
I think outside like the Commanders playing the Raiders in week 3, they scored 41 points. That was by far the high point of the Commanders season. The Colts won 40-6 over the Raiders. That was the high point of the Colts season by far. The Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-0. That was by far the best the Chiefs looked the entire season. Even the Browns beat the Raiders like 24-10. That was probably the best the Browns looked all year. You could debate, but like that was really high on the list. The Cowboys beat the Raiders 33-16. I mean, I think you could argue that half the Raiders games this season, they made the other team look is either the single best game they played the entire year.
Yeah.
The rainbow
So
strip.
but that's my point. If the Eagles don't look good this week, I don't know if the Eagles will look good the rest of the year. And again, the Eagles could right the ship. The Eagles could score 40 points this week and just use last week as rage. But Jalen Hurts has to bounce back.
I mean, they've lost 3 straight games and they've kind of looked bad for 3 straight games.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked bad all year on offense, but they've lost 3 straight. The spread's 11.5.
Ultimately, I'm going to start Hurts begrudgingly.
You have to start.
You have to start Hurts. Dude, I've been as hard as Jalen Hurts as anybody, and I would never bench Jalen Hurts.
Right.
There's an entire play they're going to ban this offseason because Jalen Hurts is too easy to score a fucking touchdown. Do you think Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback to ever turn a ball over twice in one play and then be favored by 11.5 points next week?
I think so. Probably.
He's
Yeah.
the only
probably.
one, in fact.
Short list. The Jets are at the Jaguars. Every time Trevor Lawrence plays the Jets, I think about how the Jets could have had Trevor Lawrence and then beat the Rams by like when they were 17-point underdogs. So that's all I think about. But I don't know.
That.
DK, I feel like Trevor Lawrence played his best game of the entire year last week.
I know the Jags are a mysterious team to me because that game made me maybe more of a believer than I was certainly before that. I don't really know what to make of this team. They're coming off a big one over the Colts, obviously. Didn't help the Colts that Daniel Jones tore his Achilles in that game, but still. The Jags are 5-1 since their bye. They've beaten the Colts, Titans, Cardinals, Chargers, and Raiders with a loss to the Texans. But by the way, they beat the Texans in week 2. So they've actually had some pretty good quality wins this year. The Jags have beaten the Chiefs, Chargers, 49ers, Texans, Panthers, and Colts this season. So all those teams could be playoff teams. I don't know what to make of this team. I do know something. Jacoby Myers has been quietly a very good addition for the Jags. since he came to the team, he is in fantasy the wide receiver 18. He has a 24% target rate. But Lawrence, more importantly, has really improved a lot of his numbers. Since Jacoby Myers was acquired in that trade, Lawrence is tied for second in touchdown throws. He has 9. He's third in off target rate, which has been a big issue for him. Only 8.3%, so that's huge. 5th in success rate, 7th in yards per attempt, 9th in explosive pass rate. So he's top 10 in a lot of really important categories for quarterbacking. He's just been a lot better since Jacoby Myers got there. He's like, Jacoby Myers is this reliable target he absolutely needed. Brian Thomas, very talented, not reliable.
He's playing better.
He is playing better. And I think that's because Jacoby Myers is kind of laying this foundation and just kind of taking some of the heat off of Brian Thomas. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that acquisition has definitely helped a lot. I don't know if it's like the key to their season, but it's certainly been a good thing.
I kind of think that the Jags defense is just playing really well and Trevor Lawrence is fine. And still,
I can accept that as well.
I think Lawrence is good. I still think Lawrence is going to be good. But
going to be good?
I think I believe in Lawrence, actually. I am a believer.
There's such a Bill, and they always do the Shakey's game, in the playoffs. It's like the two worst. It's like the worst playoff game. They always go watch at Shakey's Pizza. Dude, the AFC is only Shakey's teams. Like the Jags are such a Shakey's team. The Steelers, the Chargers, the Texans, the Colts, the Ravens, every single one, even the top 2 seeds in the AFC, the Broncos and the Pats are borderline Shakey's teams. Maybe not the Pats, but I'm like, I don't trust this single one.
There's a chance the best team in the AFC is the Broncos, who played the worst game of the entire season, which was that Broncos-Raiders Thursday night football game.
I don't trust that.
We have to talk about the Jets quarterback in this game, though. So Tyrod Taylor, who's 35 years old, has a groin injury, which Justin Fields, who got benched because he had under 60 passing yards 4 times, has a knee injury. So I don't know, DK, do you feel that 35-year-old hobbled with a groin injury, a rushing quarterback who won't be able to run, or an undrafted free agent Brady Cook, who scares you the most of the Jets' options? Because Aaron Glenn won't fucking tell us.
Well, here's something that's helpful. Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields did not practice on Thursday. So it's probably going to be Brady Cook starting for the Jets.
I think Jags are favored to win by 13.5 points. I actually kind of wonder if that's that's low if Brady Cook is playing. Brady Cook, bless his heart, is horrific.
2025 undrafted free agent out of Missouri. Yeah, the Jets are bad, man. I'm with you on that one.
Cardinals are at the Texans this week. This is another weird game because this is like a classic. The Cardinals kind of quietly haven't. They're putting up a lot of stats with Jacoby Brissett, but they're not always in competitive games. But
they're putting up numbers, but they're bad. They're losing every time.
Cardinals are 3-10.
Yeah. They've lost in a lot of very depressing ways in the sense that like they're in some games, but then they end up losing in the end.
Dude,
so
they're 1 for their last 11. Like, would you have said that? If somebody's like, they've lost 10 of 11
That's
games?
the funniest part about
because
Kyler
they've
being
been good
benched.
in fantasy, so we're like, it's fine, whatever. Who fucking cares?
True.
The funniest part about Kyler being benched is that they're not even fucking playing. They're not even winning games with Jacoby Brissett.
That's
no,
insane.
they've lost 5 straight with Jacoby Brissett. Out of their 1 win in 11 weeks, they just somehow beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, weird team. Really weird team. Since week 6, when Brissett first took over for Kyler, the Cardinals Brissett is first in passing yards, first in pass attempts per game, and second in 3-and-out rate. So like they're moving the football, they're passing it all over. They're 10th and 3rd down conversion rate. The only problem is, and the big problem here, I think, is they're not balanced. They have a horrific run game. 28th in stuff rate, 30th in rushing yards in that stretch, 28th and 3rd down distance. So like they're getting backed up and behind the sticks. Basically, they're a one-dimensional offense that puts up fun fantasy points, but this is not a very good offense. They're
the ideal bad fantasy team.
They're 18th in points per game. They're 18th in points per drive. They're putting up passing numbers.
They're the least cool possible version of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
Where Jacoby Brissett's like Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow on Thanksgiving threw 30 passes in the first half. That's kind of Jacoby Brissett in the second half of these games.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett, he set the record for most completions or attempts. What was it? Like
47 for 57, I think he was.
Yeah, he had 57 passes in a game. Like Jacoby, last week they were around 35 points and they were kept throwing. And it's like, so instead of Marvin Harrison Jr., though, it's Trey McBride. He's by far he leads the NFL in targets, I think. Trey McBride, tight end.
Yeah.
And then you have Michael Wilson is market corrected Marvin Harrison Jr. And then they're just throwing the ball a ton. It's crazy. Also, the fact that if Marvin Harrison can't put up numbers when Arizona literally is like leading the league on his pass attempts, I don't know when we'll ever trust him.
I think the dilemma here, I have this in a couple of leagues because I picked up Brissett in a handful of leagues and he's been awesome for me. I don't know what to do this week with him because the Texans are freaking great.
You don't play him.
I know you probably don't play him. You have to play McBride.
Texans will not be
Wilson.
up enough. You have Trey McBride. There's no one in the world.
I mean, you definitely play McBride, but you probably play Michael Wilson, right?
Yeah, you do.
You have to put Wilson.
But
just
Brissett to me is like that's a dilemma. I'm most likely sitting him in most of my leagues. Like I have Trevor Lawrence and Brissett in one league. I think I'm going with Lawrence.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, but and the reason for that is the Texans' defense is sick. They are second in DVOA, first against the pass, which is huge because obviously the Cardinals are a pass first team. Texans league best 25% of opponent drives and in a score. 16. They're allowing 16 points per game, which is league best. They're not giving up very many points to opposing running backs. I don't know. The Texans defense is just going to stifle this Cardinals team, I think. And so I like the Texans this game. And I don't know. That's about it.
Commanders are at the New York Giants. These teams played in week 1. Giants lost 21-6. Another game. It just like makes me sick how far we done fell. Unbelievable. Jaden Daniels not going to play this week. He re-injured his non-throwing elbow, and Dan Quinn's just afraid that he'll fuck that up again. Zach Ertz is cooked. Marcus Mariota is going to play for Washington. Vibes are atrocious all around. 2 years ago, the Giants were going to have a top pick in the draft, and then they beat Washington late in the season, and then it cost them Jaden Daniels and Drake May. And it's going to happen again because right now the Giants have the number 1 pick, and they're going to win this game, and they're going to blow it. But I think you can play more guys than you think in fantasy. I think you could play like Chris Rodriguez because the Giants running back.
If he's healthy.
Yeah, yep. Chris Rodriguez, if he plays, I think Washington starting running back you can play because the Giants defense is so bad. Terry McLaurin, Debo, Mariota, just because the Giants defense sucks. And then Theo Johnson at tight end is a usable tight end. Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants, but Jackson Dart. But overall, this game sucks. I'm sad about it. And if you have to use it for fantasy, I feel bad for you. So
what do you get?
Those are my thoughts.
The question that comes to my mind for Washington is, do you think that Jaden's going to come back this year, or are they going to do this charade where he like practices and he's kind of running around on the field, but then they just play Mariota the rest of the time?
I think Mariota, because they did their whole, look, man, you can't be afraid playing football. Like, it's like these guys get paid money to go out there and play. Like, you can't just think about next season. You can't be scared. And then Jaden Daniels immediately got injured again, and they were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And they got scared. And so I think honestly, Dan Quinn could get fired. Like if Dan Quinn, I mean, this is
I don't want to get fired for that reason.
That's the thing. If Jaden Daniels comes back and gets hurt again after coming back and getting hurt again, like if that happens twice, that people are going to hate him. So I don't think Jaden comes back. He shouldn't. The late games are really good. The Packers are at the Denver Broncos, which is quietly pretty incredible. Contender versus contender matchup. DK, just honest. I think this is hard. Who do you think wins this game? Packers, Broncos.
I kind of like the Broncos in this one. I just think the Broncos defense is really fucking good. They are tied in the NFL for fewest yards per play allowed. They are tied with the Seahawks and Texans for fewest net yards per attempt allowed. So they're good. They're good against the run. They're good against the pass. The only weird thing about them is they only have 10 takeaways this year. But that almost like makes me more impressed with everything else they've done because they're not just doing it by getting a bunch of takeaways. They have the 4th fewest takeaways, but they're giving up only 18 points per game, which is 4th best. It's in Denver. It's a hard place to play. The Packers are pretty banged up. Josh Jacobs still not practicing. And he might not be back this week. I think that makes them a little bit more one-dimensional. I think Emmanuel Wilson's like a solid backup, but I don't know. I just kind of lean Broncos in this one in a low-scoring kind of defensive slot game.
There's a fun wrinkle to this, which is when Sean Payton took over the Broncos, he said about Nate Hackett, the previous coach, he said it was one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL, which you never hear coaches shit talk other coaches. And guess who is the defensive analyst for the Green Bay Packers?
Hackett.
Nate Hackett, baby. And if you think coaches don't care about that stuff, one of the reasons Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins ran up the score on the Broncos 70-0 a few years ago was because Mike McDaniel's like friends with Nate Hackett. Like that, like coaches fucking care. And so You're
saying the Packers are going to be extra motivated, or even Sean Payton as well will be extra motivated?
Oh, I think my point. Yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, they'll win because of that, but these staffs hate each other. And they're going the Packers staff hates Sean Payton.
It kind of feels like every staff hates Sean Payton, though.
Who doesn't hate Sean?
Raylan Givens? Run into an asshole in the morning.
Sean Payton's a hateable guy.
I feel like every team is like, fuck this. We're going to beat Sean Payton, and they don't.
I think it honestly is, though. Like, to be serious, obviously, everyone knows why I hate Sean Payton is just because of the fantasy stuff. But like, Payton is one of the coaches in the NFL who is like not afraid to say controversial shit in the media. You know what I mean? He'll like go out and call someone out at a press conference.
It's true.
He's not gonna like beat around the bush. So I think he's made a lot of not enemies, but like people are like, this guy's an asshole.
Peyton's an old school like alpha, like Parcells-esque. I will dominate. I am the alpha of the locker room. Also, I know DK hates Sean Payton's style and how he always mixes and matches who gets the ball. Anyway, Broncos 10-game winning streak.
Hey, I've how many times do I have to say the caveat? He good football coach, annoying as fuck in fantasy. That's all.
I do think it makes it really hard to play Denver. Outside of RJ Harvey at running back and Bo Nix, I don't think you want to play any of these receivers in Denver. I guess
Pat Bryant might be out.
Yeah, it's not great. Injury. So I don't know. I feel
it's
like
a big little Jordan Humphrey week. I can feel it.
And big Jordan Love.
Yeah. The Broncos have given
Big
up
Jordan?
the second fewest pass touchdowns this season.
I think you can play Courtland Sutton.
Yeah. Well, Craig's saying Courtland Sutton, you can play him.
I think you can. I think honestly, Pat Bryant being out doesn't make things a lot clearer for Troy Franklin.
I think that's
Courtland Sutton.
I can't wait for him to have no catches on Sunday. I think the Packers should win this game, but I'm curious to see if the Packers are favored. Jordan Love is way better than Bo Nix. I also kind of think Jordan Love is still a little more likely to fuck it up more than Bo Nix is. But
Craig, who do you like?
Denver.
Okay.
Why?
They've won 10 straight games. They're at home and they're underdogs.
It's a good argument. I think this will be a really good game. There's a lot. The late window is really good. The other game, Lions
RJ Harvey, by the way, has been playing pretty well. He's definitely been flashing. So that's exciting for the Broncos.
He only needed J.K. Dobbins to have a season-ending injury.
I don't know why, but I continue to not believe in Green Bay, and I'm kind of wrong every week now. So eventually I'll learn.
We've all got our
Parsons
biases,
been amazing.
Craig.
Lions are at the Rams. Rams are favored to win by 6. Look at
this game. Look at this game.
I don't know. I think it's worth marking that Jared Goff has now played more games for the Lions than he ever played for the Rams.
This is not a revenge.
Right?
Like, is this even like a bad? Is this when like a team like people break up and then they both find great partners and then they meet up later 5
like
years
friends.
down the road and they're like, oh my god, it's so great to see you. I'm so happy things worked out for you.
I think
they're great co-parents.
Yeah.
I think it's like that, and I think McVay's cool and Stafford's cool with it, and Dan Campbell's cool with it, and Jared Goff is so not over it.
Oh, you think?
I think Jared Goff. Oh, I think he still seethes with anger at McVay, but they still go to dinner. Like the couples get dinner, but one of the 4 is fucking pissed.
Right. Yes.
I think this is going to be a crazy high scoring game because
it's like forgetting Sarah Marshall. Jared Goff's like eating dinner alone.
Oh yes,
and McVay and Dan Campbell and Matt Stafford see him like, hey, why don't you come sit with us? He's like,
dude. Honestly,
okay.
that is Stafford is just fucking Russell Brand.
Take my eyes, but not the shirt.
Take my eyes.
Dude, Stafford in the middle of the 20 touchdowns and no picks is just Russell Brand being like, okay, so you want to ideally you want to stimulate all 3 things at the same time here. Just like watching him win the big chessboard. I think this is going to be I think this game is going to have.
You think it's high scoring, huh?
I think it's like 70 points in this game will be scored because everyone's kind of figured out that the Rams are starting Emmanuel Forbes, who weighs like 150 pounds in the NFL. And I think the Panthers kind of were like, why is no one fucking just throwing at this guy every time?
Dude, he was getting torched in that Panthers game.
And I think that's going to be, and I think Dan Campbell, all he's going to do is just fucking sick Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams on Emmanuel Forbes and scheme. Everything's going to be about finding Emmanuel Forbes and Ahkello Weatherspoon, the other safety of the Rams. He just got back from a collarbone injury. The secondary in the Rams, I think, is going to get exposed more. But then the Lions are fucked too, man, because Brian Branch tore his Achilles, and he's one of the better defensive backs in football.
I kind of missed that. I didn't realize that happened.
It did kind of fly under the radar a little, Craig.
That's a huge injury for Detroit because Lions have had a lot of injuries on defense the last couple of years, but Brian Branch is consistently in modern Cody Alexander at match quarters, who's the fucking man, talks about so defense is kind of like a house and the defensive line is kind of like the foundation, and they set your defense, the floor, but that those nickel cornerbacks, they're kind of like the glue. Like they kind of keep all the pieces tied. So when you lose Brian Branch in the middle, like between safety, nickel cornerback, the ability to stop the run, stop the pass, and then Kirby Joseph, the other line safety, he's been out for like 2 months. And if he plays this week, I think that's Kirby Joseph rushing back from injury because Brian Branch is out. So either way, I think DJ Reed just got back from injured reserve for the Lions, but the Lions are still out to Ryan Arnold's out for the whole season. Like They're going to have Matt Stafford is going to be doing no-look passes against Thomas Harper, Avonte Maddox, and Daniel Thomas are going to be playing for the Lions at points in this game. And I versus Devontae Adams and Puka, like this is a lot of Dan Campbell and Sean McVay are looking at each other's secondaries like, holy shit, there are big holes.
Puka's going to have like 250 yards in this game.
It's going to be a fun one.
I do think there will be like 700 passing yards.
Do you guys think you start Jahmyr Gibbs in this game?
Oh, that's good. Should we?
I don't know.
Play him?
Dude, he's been fucking lapping the field the last like month in terms of just like points scored. He's been absolutely going nuclear.
What would you say the odds are that Blake Corum has more fantasy points than Jahmyr Gibbs in this game? If I gave you that, what would you say?
I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs got hurt.
No,
It's
but
like
you're asking for the odds?
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking
12%.
15 to 1.
I'm not going to take that, but I thought about it. I think you play Blake Corum, though. Is my point. I don't think last week was an aberration.
You think you play Blake Corum? Can we do name game for people?
Yes.
Because
I think Blake Corum has earned a share of the best and most productive offense in the NFL.
Let's do name game because I think a lot of people probably have Corum on their bench and are considering what to do with him.
Like if you told me last week was a fluke for either Tony Pollard or Blake Corum and one of them had more points this week, I would take Blake Corum.
All right. Well, let's keep it in the same game. Blake Corum or David Montgomery?
Ooh. Dude, Corum. Campbell has given Gibbs way more run.
I would feel better about Montgomery.
It's like the Josh Allen Drake May thing at the beginning where it's like, well, you've seen Montgomery do it, but I kind of think Corum's actually more. Gibbs is not coming off the field nearly as much.
Because that is a good name game because David Montgomery is so entrenched as somebody that it like just feels like a starter. You kind of like feel comfortable putting him there every week. Blake Corum feels the opposite. Okay, Aaron Jones.
That's like really close.
Trying to think of other guys that people drafted this year to be a starter.
Sorry, I mean Aaron Jones because it's Dallas.
Yeah, I still
don't
Jones.
believe.
DeAndre
I'm not
Swift.
as confident about Corum as Heifetz is.
DeAndre Swift or Monangai? Are you starting both of those guys over?
You have
Blake
to.
Corum?
The Bears, what Ben Johnson's done in the running game, I think the entire Bears running game today or this week is going to be about like just scheming around Myles Garrett, just getting Myles Garrett hit by tight ends from the weirdest angles, and you can't bench a Bears run.
O'Marion Hampton.
We haven't ranked higher, but I got to tell you, man, if Corum outscores, I wouldn't be. I just think Corum's going to get double-digit carries. The Rams are the best offense. Rams score 30 points every fucking week.
Jalen Warren?
Warren. You can't. I don't think you can bench Warren against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football.
Okay. All right.
Hampton is a good example of a guy where I'm like, we haven't ranked ahead, and I think I might switch that. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. All right, you guys clearly don't agree. All right. The next game here, the Colts are at the Seahawks. DK. First of all, let's just get to it. Is Phillip Rivers playing this week or what?
I think so. I think he might. Based on the reporting, look, no one's going to say anything until we'll probably find out like the day of. But let me just pull this up. Stephen Holder, who covers the Colts, covers.
Is this elder abuse if he plays in this game against Seattle? What he's going to get destroyed.
It's kind of like if, sometimes there's hard conversations of whether your parents should have a driver's license. It's like, should we actually be allowing Phillip Rivers to...
Rivers, have you seen him, dude? He's thick, man. He can handle it. He has
thick. They asked him what his weight was, and he was like, more than it should be.
He can take the heat.
This is like such a cutesy, folksy story of like, wow, Phillip Rivers is back. Doggone, how fun. Dude, he's going to get fucking annihilated.
I think so too.
Super not cool like 10 minutes into this.
I think this is going to be a fucking disaster.
Here's my point of view. Do I think he's going to do well? Probably not. Do I think he stands a better chance of playing well compared to Riley Leonard? Yes. I think he would be way better option for the Colts than Riley Leonard.
But it doesn't mean as much if Riley Leonard gets fucking obliterated.
I think Riley Leonard would go out and have a fucking Brosmer type performance.
Riley Leonard.
I think Phillip Rivers actually gives them a chance.
Yeah.
But
that's how I feel. I don't know. I can't prove anything.
I guess that is technically correct, but I still think in both situations this is a disaster.
This is the chance infinitesimal. Dude,
they lost their first two quarterbacks.
The Seahawks were the team that Max Brosmer. The Seahawks won 26 to nothing, and that was low. And now, like, this is the best defense. The two best defenses are the Seahawks and the Texans. The difference is
and Broncos, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The difference is the Seahawks are also the most complicated defense. This shit wasn't even fucking happening when Phillip Rivers was in the NFL. What the Seahawks do was like the entire era of the NFL has happened since Phil
Phil's
Rivers left.
looking for the stick shift right
This
now.
is like
Yeah.
me coming back and playing basketball. Everyone's fucking doing Euro steps, and
Yes!
I don't know what the fuck you guys do in basketball anymore.
This is
What's
like
the new thing?
this is
What's
like
the
my
new thing?
grandpa trying to
Switching?
like work an Apple TV.
100%.
You know what I
Phil-
mean?
they're like, well,
Can you tell
Phil
me how to
Rivers
use
ran
this
the-
goddamn remote? I don't know what the fuck. is
Philip
going on.
Rivers ran the Colts offense in high school this season. So, it's like that. And I'm like, dude, the Seahawks defense, Nick Emenwari is going to be fucking coming from the blind side. And
You
just
guys
he's
are-
going to send it to
you're-
another dimension.
He has a kid old enough to be playing in high school.
He's a
Is-
grandfather. You guys are making me nervous. I feel like
dude,
this is
he's
gonna be-
44 and hasn't played in 5 years.
Well,
and he
let's just do it right now because we're going to be. The fact that it's the Seahawks who are at the undisputably the best defense in the NFC. If Philip Rivers comes in and like outplays them, and it's not like Sam Darnold shits out 6 turnovers and like Jalen Hurts last week. If Philip Rivers wins this game, this is one of the more improbable things that has ever happened in the history of American sports.
I don't like it when you frame it all like this because now it feels like it's gonna happen.
I need to find what his totals are this week. Phil.
Old Phil.
Because like what do you guys think his over-under is passing yards? Maybe it's not even up yet because they don't know if he's playing.
It should probably be 140 because
What
they
did
might
you
be
say,
down
DJ?
30.
I said 179.
Well, he could hit the overs because they're gonna be down 30-0 and no one else is gonna be healthy enough to play. I think there's a serious chance that he just gets fucking rocked in the last like 2 drives.
It's 150 yards is the over-under.
Nice.
He's going to take one hit
Yeah.
and his spleen's going to explode.
So, well, that's the thing. Austin makes a good point that Riley Leonard's been a full participant. That's the thing. It's why did they sign him? Because he's still in the practice squad. So here's the thing. Maybe, I think there's honestly 2 answers. It's Riley Leonard's knee. It's a PCL injury. It's just worse than we think. And so they need him to play. I think it's basically like, oh, if Riley Leonard is already injured going in, who could play? And maybe it is Rivers. So I don't know if he's going to play or not. We'll see. But
Well,
I
sorry,
gotta tell you,
what I was saying, Stephen Holder says he's pretty convinced that Philip Rivers is starting. And then Adam Schefter just said, sounds like Philip Rivers is tracking to start on Sunday in Seattle.
This
you know
is
what it reminds me of?
must-watch television.
You
by the
guys
way.
don't watch House of the Dragon, I don't think, which is the Game of Thrones spinoff. It's not a spoiler or anything.
I
but
saw
there's
the
a point-
first like 8 episodes or something.
It's not a spoiler if you haven't seen it, but there's a point where they're like, oh, we need someone to ride this dragon. And they find this guy and they meet him and they're like, wow, this guy is awesome. He's really cool. Wow. Like great vibes. It's kind of like a Philip Rivers. And then he goes out to like do the dragon. And the dragon fucking burns everybody alive like immediately as soon as it sees this guy. And like that meme of one of the guy pulls the knife out and is like, rather than burning alive, like slits his own fucking throat.
Yeah.
That's this is such a cutesy thing.
This metaphor would be like if that guy that they found to ride the dragon was just nominated to go in the Hall of Fame for dragon riding. Like,
yeah,
Philip Rivers
right.
has fucking played before. Like, I obviously he's 44. I understand like all the limitations of getting older. He hasn't played in a long time, but like acting like he's never fucking played before is a little bit silly, I think. Like he'll go out there and he at least knows how to fucking read a defense. He's inarguably a better option in my mind than Riley Leonard. From the opposing fan point or viewpoint or whatever, like who do you want to start? I would way rather go against Riley Leonard as a Seahawks fan.
That is,
than Philip
I
Rivers.
guess you're right that like there's no chance Riley Leonard or it's so funny Brett Rippon is like on this team. What is Brett Rippon
Him
even
too.
doing there? That Brett Rippon is there. Like, would you even consider playing him?
Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki retired 5 years ago. Imagine if Dirk Nowitzki just showed up in a game.
It is crazy that it's been 5 years. I sent you guys a video the other day. Philip Rivers is practicing and taking snaps. He's got the no-show socks on with like, and I'm like, oh god, this is how you can tell this guy's old. He's got the no-show socks.
Now I'm thinking like, man, maybe Rivers will win this game.
Can we talk about fantasy for this game? Like, which Colts players are you playing? If you're gonna, you have to start Jonathan Taylor. Are you?
I'm
any of the
taking
pass catchers?
Tyler, Antonio Gates, Warren, and that's it.
I think Tyler Warren because you have no choice. You don't have a better tight end, and I do think that a lot of the offense
Is that
will have
right?
to
Like,
be-
if you could just like start Kyle Pitts.
I think Tyler Warren because what
He's
is the offense going to be?
yeah.
And I think it's going to have to be a lot of Jonathan Taylor, and they're going to have to do play action of Jonathan Taylor. And I think there's going to be a lot of Tyler Warren screens in the flat, and a lot of I think there's going to be a lot of Tyler Warren targets. That also, frankly, it's more realistic. Philip Rivers will be able to do that. I'd rather play him than Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, whose whole game is down the field, Michael Pittman, I am very concerned about starting Pittman or Pierce.
I think
Tyler
Warren's going to suck. I think
Probably.
the Seahawks are going to sniff all this shit out, and they're going to try to throw screens. And before Tyler Warren can even catch the ball, there's going to be 3 Seahawks defenders up his ass.
He's going to have
agree
4
with that.
catches for 27 yards.
Yeah, I do. I think there's going to be like 6 Tyler Warren targets, 3 catches, 22 yards is what my prediction.
I don't know about you guys, but when we went through rankings this week, I thought the Colts pass catches was one of the hardest things I've ever had to rank, of deciding where I'd play these guys with either toilet bowl or championship on the line. And where we landed is we have Michael Pittman 34th among receivers, Alec Pierce like 36th. I kind of moving them down overall among flex players. I think there's even more running backs, but we have Pittman and Pierce basically above like Jaden Reed on the Packers and like Luther Burden on the Bears and like Quentin Johnson, the Chargers, Jerry Jeudy for the Browns, DJ Moore on the Bears. People that we don't trust for deep reasons. And I think that's right. But we have them behind basically like any other receiver that has of any substance, which I think is probably like even Marvin Harrison Jr. we have above these Colts receivers, which I think is probably right.
Yeah. I think him being next to like guys like Jordan Addison is fair.
Other people who have huge quarterback problems, or guys like a Jaden Higgins on the Texans, who has he had 60 yards in a game? Xavier Worthy, who hasn't had double digits since week 1. I'll put him behind because Pittman, Pierce, who knows? But I can't think of a guy that I have. How could you have less confidence playing somebody in fantasy that might have to be in your lineup truly than like Michael Pittman or Alec Pierce this week?
Would you feel comfortable starting Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews over Tyler Warren or no?
Dude, yeah. The Bengals. I mean, how many times have we said all year that the number 1 tight end in fantasy this year is Trey McBride, and the number 2 is just tight ends versus Cincinnati?
I think so too. Also, it's not like Tyler Warren's been going crazy. He's been single-digit fantasy points 5 of the last 6 weeks. He's been quietly kind of a bummer the last 2 months.
Would you play like Harold Fannin this week or Tyler Warren?
Oh, Fannin.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we probably have to move fucking Warren down.
I kind of
actually playing.
I
kind of was wondering if Leonard was going to play and the Rivers was just there as like a backup or emergency. But yeah, if Richard Rivers is going to play, this is crazy.
I don't love the like, well, someone's got to catch passes. Oh, the young quarterback or the old shitty, the backup quarterback always targets tight ends. I'm like, they're playing the best defense in the league on the road. The quarterback's 44. I'm like, this could be, nobody might have 40 yards in this game.
Oh, look at who's announcing it. Oh, God, I wish Brady would be like, this is crazy. No, it's Jason McCourty and Charles Davis.
Oh, Brady would have been so good. I mean, what, Brady win a Super Bowl at 44?
It would be Brady's first game that he was good at announcing because he'd actually be like, couldn't shut off the part of his brain where he'd be like, I could fucking do this, which is like all any of us want. Is okay.
Brady was 43 and a half when he won the last Super Bowl.
DK, would you play Xavier Worthy or Michael Pittman?
Ooh.
You guys don't have the hatred
Pittman.
for Xavier Worthy.
Pittman probably.
No, I hate Xavier Worthy.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
I have them ahead of 80 Mitchell, but that's also because, like,
Brady Cook,
yeah. Okay.
What a messy week.
That's kind of
first week of the playoffs.
The theme.
Welcome to the playoffs.
Yeah, the quarterbacks, the first week of the fantasy playoffs are going to be Phillip Rivers, maybe, or someone that, I mean, Riley Leonard with an knee injury, Brady Cook for the Jets. Shedeur Sanders is suddenly like not even one of the worst quarterbacks in the league anymore. Like there's a lot going on. All right, other late games here. Carolina Panthers are at the Saints. I mean, my God.
I mean, the last time these two teams played, the Saints fucking won. In week 10, the Saints won 17-7. And they just beat the Bucs in the rain. Dude, I was looking at Bryce Young's like game log. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Like if you look
this
at
is a quarterback.
His last 5 games, here are his points, starting with week 13 and going backwards. 22, 8, 31, 1, 2. Also, the game he had 2, they won. I'm just like, I have no fucking idea what's going on. This entire game is like the who do you play in your flex bowl? It's like Ted McMillan has 3 catches over his last 2 games. Jalen Coker's there. You have the 2 Panthers running backs. That's now a complete timeshare. Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. It's like Kamara might play as he was banged up. You have Jawan Johnson, the tight end, who Carolina's been bad against tight ends. I kind of think you could maybe play him, but I'm like, this whole game is a mess in terms of outside of Chris Olave, who you're definitely playing. I guess you feel okay about the 2 Panthers running backs, Dowdle and Chuba. Has there ever been a more obvious regression candidate, by the way, than Rico Dowdle? Like, we all get so blind to this shit. And then the last 3 weeks, he's just become, what Rico Dowdle was before,
Like
a
a
fine,
timeshare
normal,
early down running back.
middle of the road
Yeah.
running back who, over his last 4 games, he's averaging 3.2 yards per carry.
Were you not impressed in Dowdle having back-to-back games with more scrimmage yards than McCaffrey ever had in any 2-game period ever for the Panthers?
Yeah, and now he's,
Chuba Hubbard's very playable. The Bryce Young thing, you're so right too. DK, I'm curious what you think. Part of me thinks, to Craig's point about, I can't figure this out. I think that there's when you dig into all these things and what's actually going on with the teams and who's hurt, you don't know about what schemes and what was the game plan. And there's 1,000 variables we don't know about. And you dig through that. And I think if you ask Dave Canales the true serum, do you think Bryce Young's good? I think Dave Canales would be like, man, I don't know.
No, I think he'd be like, no, not really. I mean, I think that, the Panthers are good when they can run. Obviously, there was that one huge game for Bryce, but I feel like that's not going to happen very often.
Or
ever again.
Probably never again.
If we had to draft players to start in fantasy in this game, your first pick is Chris Olave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heifetz, who's the second pick?
I think it's Chuba Hubbard, man. Or I guess, no, sorry, Ted.
No,
I guess
Ted.
it would be
Ted
McMillan, and then it would be Chuba.
You like Chuba more than Dowdle now, even.
I think you have to. Yeah, Chuba's taking the job back. Or
he's basically
the efficiency. He's good.
This is the hot hand approach.
It's an old school split now. Now it's like Dowdle's
Yeah.
the early down guy and Chuba's the third down and the long down and distance guy.
If you start either one of these guys, just fucking pray early in the game that the guy that you have has like a 10-yard run, because then he's getting the rest of the carries that day.
I do think, I don't know, man. Gun to my head, I'm like, could you start Juwan Johnson over Tyler Warren? Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm like,
I think you could.
Shuck has not been that bad.
Put it this way. Going back to the Colts Rivers thing, this is important. Everyone who has Colts players, the quarterback for the Colts is 44 and has been retired for 5 years and has come back on 4 days' notice. You can bench whoever the fuck you want. The question should be, can you bench Jonathan Taylor?
Well, no, you can't do that.
Because it's like when the game comes on and the quarterback's 44, I think you can do it. Like, you have permission to do whatever you want.
In Phillip Rivers' defense, Tyler Shuck is 42.
That's
so
true. That's a good point.
It's also hard.
I'm just like, yeah.
Well,
you
look, here's
can
what I'll
bench
say.
Tyler Warren.
The last time the Panthers and the Saints played, Juwan Johnson had 92 yards and a touchdown. Season high for him. Tyler Shuck, when he's kept clean, has been pretty good. The Panthers have the lowest pressure rate in the NFL. Just something to think about. If you have 2 shitty tight ends, you're deciding between, and one of them is Juwan Johnson, consider that.
I am not going to tell anyone that they need to play any of the Colts. But if you just don't want to feel like an idiot, you're like, my season on the line, I played a rookie tight end whose quarterback was 44.
My buddy sent me this. He goes, I got a fact for you. He goes, Phillip Rivers started his college career when Bill Clinton was president.
No.
Isn't that insane? He started his college career in the year 2000. Kind of weird.
Tyler Warren was super not born.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. Craig, another primetime banger.
Right. We have the Vikings playing the Cowboys. The return of 9 to primetime. 9 time is what we call it.
9 time.
This is a question of who has a better unit, the Dallas offense or the Vikings defense. And can 9 score 21 points in this game? This is an impossible fantasy situation, and I feel bad for all the people who have Vikings players because Dallas's defense through the air has been extremely vulnerable. And yet, Justin Jefferson, you want to rip your hair out if you have him. Justin Jefferson has 15 yards combined in his last 2 games. 15 in his last 2 games. I know one of them was with the Brosmer, but it's been so bad. And I think the only player, I think you have to play Justin Jefferson as much as it pains me to say it. And I think you play Aaron Jones. I think those are the only 2 players you play on Minnesota.
Yeah. Addison is rough.
You don't want to go down with Addison.
No.
He hasn't done it for you all year. You're not going to bet on it now.
I kind of think they're going to be okay in this game, and I think there will be shots, actually, but I don't think you could bet on it. Like, I think with the season on the line, I think it's one of those, like, if you need to, you can do it. Like, I understand playing Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. There were shots last week where McCarthy, like, I think there will be opportunities, but I think, you can't go down with anyone other than Jefferson or Aaron Jones. And yet I kind of think Jordan Addison will be fine, but I don't.
There is not a single player on the Vikings who has averaged double-digit points when JJ McCarthy plays.
Yeah. I just bench them all. Jesus, it's crazy.
You think? I don't think you bench Jefferson. I think you play him.
Yeah, I think you play Jefferson and then you lose because of it. And you'd be mad at Justin Jefferson all year and McCarthy.
Yeah.
But
this is like one of those impossible process things where you're like, the process says you play Justin fucking Jefferson.
Yeah.
But the process also says, what is he? He hasn't actually done anything.
Yeah, it's one of
You
those
don't
like we're not gonna tell you to bench Justin Jefferson, and you won't find anyone to tell you to bench Justin Jefferson, but you should. But no one's gonna tell you, including me.
I'm fucking playing him. I don't care.
Yeah, and you're gonna lose.
Yeah, maybe.
I forgot.
By the way, it looks like CeeDee Lamb could play in this game, which would obviously be
You're
great
playing
for him.
George Pickens and even Jake Ferguson either way. I forgot Titans-Niners is not a primetime game early. Who cares? It doesn't matter. These teams suck. The Titans suck. Niners are going to rock them. So I don't think there's anything to say, to be honest. I think we're not counting like Tony Pollard's going to do that.
No, you're not playing a Titan.
No, there's no Titans you're playing with your season on the line. And there's no Niners you're going to, it's like you're playing all the Niners. Monday Night Football, another just incredible primetime game, Craig.
Steelers, Dolphins. God, just a bizarre
Steelers
primetime lineup. I know. I think we have to start here. What happened to TJ Watt? TJ Watt has a lung situation going on. He is in the hospital right now getting evaluated for some discomfort he experienced. Brooke Pryor reported that it occurred during treatment at the team facility on Wednesday. We're getting Tyrod Taylor.
Does this involve
Chargers
a needle?
vibes?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tomlin didn't have much to say. TJ Watt spent the night in the hospital dealing with this lung situation.
While he was getting treatment.
Doesn't seem great. It's Thursday. While receiving treatment. So
sure seems like a Tyrod Taylor situation.
Yeah.
I can see TJ Watt having the game-ending strip sack right now. And after hearing for 2.5 hours that he was in the hospital with some stabbed lung, and then he's going to come in for 2 plays and just win the game. Or out for the season. Who knows?
It's classic Steelers. Like literally every time they are the Costanza. Like anytime you see something that makes you think one way, just go the other. Like you should probably just bet TJ Watt to have 3 sacks because of this. That's how the Steelers work. This game in general, Rodgers had his best game of the season last week. Rodgers was fucking awesome. And even if you go back and watch the throws he was making, dude, he can still rip it and is making throws. Even some of his incomplete passes were incredibly impressive. And then Miami's been playing. Miami's basically completely shifted their focus to running the ball. Tua has thrown the ball 26 times or less in 6 of the past 7 games. They are just fully committing to the run. Achane has been awesome. They're scoring touchdowns on the ground. Tua only has 3 touchdown passes in his last 5 games. Achane just has a rib injury, so he's a little beat up. He was a limited participant today on Thursday. McDaniel said it's going to be a gradual increase in activity and physicality. Also, you're obviously playing Achane. In terms of the Steelers winning this game, the Steelers have been okay at times at stopping the run. They really limited Jonathan Taylor when they needed to. And a lot of it does come down to their rookie, Derek Harmon, out of Oregon, who's been really good this year. He's been battling a knee injury. There's a crazy stat about him. When he plays, they give up 100 less yards rushing per game when Derek Harmon plays. Basically 96 to 196 is the difference.
Is that skewed by the Bills having 250 without him?
But that, what do you mean skewed? That's a factor. That's what happened in the game. So yeah, in terms of fantasy, it's Achane, yes. Waddle, yes.
What do you do with Metcalf?
I think you play him.
He's been so all over the place, but yeah.
I think you play Metcalf, and I think the hardest decision you have in this game is the 2 Steelers running backs. Kenneth Gainwell's quietly been great. Last 4 weeks, he's put up 13-5, 15, and 26.
I think good in both of them because they've replaced they're the receivers in the offense. Honestly, Ken Gainwell and Warren, Rodgers trusts those 2 dudes more than basically anyone in the offense. To be honest,
I kind of don't disagree. I think you kind of can play both of them. They're both kind of good bets for at least 10 points. They kind of will get you that each week. Darnell Washington might not play with a concussion, so I don't know. This could be a dart throw Freiermuth game, but yeah, I think you could play both running backs.
How do you feel about TJ Watt, who just got a massive contract extension, being stabbed? Allegedly, we don't know what happened. But
how do I feel about that? I don't feel good.
No,
I wish that didn't happen. Yeah, I wish it
against
didn't
it.
Yeah,
anti.
Let the record show I'm against that.
Just wanted to check. All right, Ringer 107. Today's Ringer 107 is brought to you by FanDuel.
Yeah,
we got to go through. We're doing this contest between all the other pods here at the Ringer. Also, meant to mention, if you have start sit questions, fantasyfootball.theringer.com for all our rankings. But we're doing this, the Ringer 107, competing with the other teams. We're tied for first, right?
No.
I think.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
behind Bill?
We are. Right.
Okay. Part of me wants to just blindly take Seahawks minus, literally, I don't care what the line is versus the Colts. Like Seahawks minus 13.5 versus the Colts. Come on, Philip Rivers. Come on.
Do you think everyone's going to take that?
Yeah. I don't
Your
care.
guys' confidence makes me nervous.
We need 4 more games. Do we want
my
Denver?
God.
Do we want Baltimore?
Yeah, we'll do Denver.
Giants.
Denver, Baltimore.
Are we doing the Giants?
Do you want the Giants?
Do you think they're going to win by 3?
They're underdogs, right?
No.
No, they're favored by
Fucking
2.5.
favored.
Oh.
Which I don't like that.
I'm fine staying away from that game. I threw out the I threw out the Cowboys. I don't know if you guys like that at all.
Why don't we do the Cowboys? Because DK said it, and then should we do the crazy parlay, or should we just lay all these points with all these?
No, I like the crazy parlay. That's funny.
I know, but part of me is like, should we just bet against all these? Should we just bet against Brady, Cook, Rivers, Kenny Pickett?
Probably.
Why don't we just do that?
All the spreads?
Why don't we just do the
Sure.
Colts? Why don't we just do the Seahawks to beat the Colts, the Jaguars to beat the Jets, the Eagles to beat the Raiders, and the Niners to beat the Titans? All those fucking crazy games. And then DK, you want to take the Cowboys too? And we just bet against the 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL with all the points.
I don't want to do the Niners.
Okay, so we'll take the Niners. No, we don't have to.
Let's do Baltimore instead.
Yeah.
And then I don't feel strongly about the Cowboys. So if you guys aren't feeling that, we can do something different.
I mean,
said
yeah.
But in the spirit of betting against quarterbacks, like it's Dak versus JJ McCarthy.
I mean, why don't we could replace the Cowboys with the fucking, oh no, we have Jags.
Seahawks, Jags, Eagles, Cowboys. It's 4.
And Ravens would be.
Why don't you want the Niners?
I don't know.
I want the Niners.
Okay. Instead of who, the Ravens or the Cowboys?
I don't know why you guys like the Ravens in this game.
That's
know why.
fine.
Okay. We'll do
Okay,
Niners. Or
so
we'll just do
it's Seahawks,
fucking
Jags.
massive favorites. 5 massive favorites.
Oh, well, that's what I'm wondering. If you want to flip them, just take them. Should we flip it?
I don't know. This is excruciating. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. We're gonna go 2 and 3.
I know. It's true. That's true. All right, so let's just fucking do it then. Seahawks over the Colts, Rivers. Jaguars over the Jets with Brady Cook. Eagles over the Raiders with Kenny Pickett. Cowboys over the Vikings with JJ McCarthy. And yeah, the Niners over the Titans with Cam Ward. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, Cowboys. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Just playing we're laying combined 60 points. We're saying this will be an uncompetitive NFL weekend.
Correct.
What could go wrong?
We could flip it right now.
No, let's end this misery.
Okay. Let's do it. All right. Today's Ringer 107 was brought to you by FanDuel. Odds subject to change. Okay. The only thing I wanted to mention was we talked about raccoons being domesticated, and we didn't talk about how in Virginia there was a raccoon that broke into a liquor store, drank a bunch of liquor, and then passed out drunk in the bathroom.
Hell yes. In the bathroom.
So
Did you guys see the photos of this?
So they're evolving to become humans, not pets.
They're replacing us. We thought it'd be AI. Meanwhile, it's the fucking raccoons. Did you guys see the raccoon?
No.
All right, wait.
Was it a real picture? This was
Yes.
splayed,
No, this
splayed
happened.
out.
No, this happened. Look, I'm texting you this. Look at this photo. Look at the actual damage the raccoon. It drank so much. It drank rum. It drank tequila, banana tequila or something. It destroyed the store.
I like the picture of the raccoon just splayed out.
It's weirdly relatable.
What is it that you call the way that this
splooted? The raccoon splooting.
The fact that it went to the bathroom and he's next to the toilet.
So relatable.
It's unbelievable.
I think they're ready to be domesticated, to be honest. They're here.
They're cute.
Would you rather have an AI robot in your home, like the weird Elon Musk ones that he wants, or just a raccoon as a pet? And you have to do that rest of your life.
Raccoon. I don't want a fucking robot in my house.
Okay. Just checking.
No, I don't want some clanker walking around telling me what to do.
I'm with you, Craig.
No.
All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Join our Discord. The Discord invite is in the episode description. Discord's popping. Ringer Fantasy Football Show. Thank you, Lord.
Lauren.
Thank you, 50 Cent. 50.
Because of the
Nothing?
documentary.
Yeah, it just came to mind.
Did you watch it?
Not yet.
Mm.
I've heard it's very interesting.
Oh, yeah?
Did you watch it?
No. 50 Cent is a very captivating speaker.
Somebody told me that he's doing all these like interviews with only the stations that Diddy will be able to watch in prison. So that's a whole level something.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.